9:40 p.m., Wednesday, June 5th, 2019, episode number 726 of Yeah Dude. My name is Jonathan, and this is Seth. Hello, Seth.
Hello, Jonathan. You are a sight for sore eyes. Let me tell you that. Yeah Dude, America's podcast, America through the eyes of two Americans, coming to an American city near you. Right off the bat, let me let you know.
Tell us.
You ever been to Detroit, Michigan? Do you live in Detroit? Do you live anywhere near Detroit? Do you live in Canada? Do you want to see us? Vibrant, alive, prowling the stage. Saturday night, June 22nd, Magic Bag, Ferndale, Michigan. Oh, okay. Oh, you live in New Orleans. Okay, don't lean on the lean. Come on through the French Quarter, Saturday night, July 6th. Oh, you love America? We do, because the 4th of July is on Thursday and the Essence Festival is that weekend. So yes, we do love America. That's about as American a weekend as you can get. Yeah Dude, 4th of July, Essence Festival, New Orleans, French Quarter.
One-Eyed Jacks.
One-Eyed Jacks. Brooklyn. New York. Saturday night, July 27th, Murmur Ballroom. New York City. Man. Well, I guess it's Brooklyn, man.
Prospect Heights.
Wow.
Get a rope.
Dallas, Texas. Texas Theater. Saturday night, September 7th. Go to UhhYeahDude.com and you can find click-throughs to ticket links for all those, if that might be the easiest way. If you can come to any of those shows, come to all four. If you come to all four, you come back to LA with one of us. That's the...
For 2 weeks.
For 3 weeks. Live here with me and me's. That's a guarantee. So those are some cities we're going to. Let me talk about some other cities. I was on a website. The website is called beeftolive.com. Beef with the number 2. beeftolive.com. Eat beef, live better is their slogan. They gave me a rundown, Jonathan. It was the cattle inventory of the state versus the human population of sentient human beings that live in the state that I mentioned. So again, I'm talking about cattle raised for the humans to eat. How many cattle live in your state? How many fucking actual human beings? When I say human beings, you know what I mean?
I think so.
Human beings. Not cattle. Humans. People. There are 9 states that have more cattle than people. That's not possible, I thought. Let me give you the numbers. South Dakota, 844,000 humans, 3.6 million cattle. That's a ratio. There's 4.32 cattle for every person. Nebraska's number 2. 1.8 million people, 6.1 cattle. That's 3.29 cattle for every person. I guess that's a lot more cattle. So Nebraska's got 6 million. That's so many cattle. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to count to 6 million? Yeah, I did. Montana is number 3, 2.51 cattle for every person. North Dakota, 4. Wyoming, 5. Kansas at 6. The ratio is 2 cattle for every person, but there's 2.9 million people, 5.8 million cattle. That's a lot of cattle. Idaho's 7, Iowa's 8, Oklahoma's 9. Jonathan, South Dakota, Nebraska, Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming, Kansas, Idaho, Iowa, and Oklahoma. You don't get to say anything anymore. Sorry. You don't get to say anything anymore about anything because you don't have no people. You have all cattle. Okay? So unless this is a fucking cattle beauty contest, shut the fuck up about everything. No, we get to have our say about people. But why? You don't have any people there. You're all cattle.
But it's...
We don't get to talk about cattle over here. Well, I'm going to tell you about cattle. No, you ain't, city folk. Shut the fuck up.
But I think it's also the fact that it's all for the other states that don't.
Oh, never mind. We all want that. You want to eat that beef to live. My bad. So, in fact, they should have all. You know what we should make it? Only those 9 states vote on everything for everybody else.
Because they make all our.
Because you make our food, and we'll die without you. I had it twisted. 41 states are done. They are not allowed in any municipalities of voting for anything. Those 9 states decide our future. Good luck to you. More cattle than people. How is that possible? Because we have to have the cattle to feed the other 41 states. So they've said, we've got this open land. Let us
grow us here.
Let us grow these. Could they grow cattle? How does it work?
Raise
them. They herd them. Herd. They ever say that? Herd.
Think so.
Is that short for herd? Herd. South Dakota, Nebraska, Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming, Kansas, Idaho, Iowa, and Oklahoma. Those are beautiful. That's beautiful country. Those are beautiful people. Wide open vistas and plains. Absolutely beautiful. Take back everything I said. You will be deciding everything from now
here on out.
My bad. A lot of cattle, man.
Too much.
I mean, why, can you have too much of a good thing? Yes, I think.
I think so.
My mother says everything in moderation. Is 6 million cattle moderation? I mean, Nebraska's got 1.8 million people and 6.1 million cattle.
That's so many.
That's like the cattle could just make this pact
Just
between
riot.
themselves to be like, let's get them.
Let's go get them.
Do you want to go get them? I mean, what the fuck are they going to do? What would South Dakota do with 840,000 people if they rolled out and 3.6 million cattle were just like,
waiting for them
get them.
outside of the Costco?
Waiting. They'd get them. We never know what can happen. With our sci-fi anthology series, there could be
it's so much cattle.
That's a lot of cow and cattle. Is that what cattle is? Get 'em. Did they say get 'em or herd?
Get 'em.
Is it?
They say both.
They
depending.
say both.
Yeah.
I think they
what
say
direction they want them to go.
I think they say herd in South Dakota, but get 'em in Wyoming. Dog, there's 6,150,000 cattle in Nebraska.
Never been in Nebraska.
These are, but don't quote me. Quote Beef to Live. You know the websites I go on in my spare time. When I surf the web. What are you looking at in there?
I'm on Beef to Live
I'm
again.
on beeftolive.com. Crunching numbers. What are you at?
In Clemson, South Carolina,
Okay.
members of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club are set to ride into town on July 29th through August 2nd for their annual national gathering. Now, the U.S. Department of Justice lists the Angels as a quote-unquote outlaw motorcycle gang.
Whoa.
They refer to themselves, I believe, as a motorcycle club.
Whoa.
But they will
But
be
they're outlaws nonetheless.
They will be there in Clemson.
Clemson better watch itself. You hear that? What's that, honey? What is that? Is that how it sounds like? I'm going to do this is my all sound effects episode.
Not my favorite episode.
You feel a rumbling. What's going on? Is that an earthquake? No, it's the Angels. They're having their national convention. They're outlaw bikers, 1%ers. Who knows what can happen?
There's a lot of drinking.
Oh, my God. A lot of speed. I bet, would anybody be topless? That possibility on the back of a bike?
Yeah.
Not to cast assumptions.
Or right on the front
Maybe
of a
it's
bike.
a man maybe it's a woman riding the bike and there's a man topless on the back. How's that? Okay? Build things up, not tear them down. Yeah, it was crazy. It was all women riding bikes, but the men were all topless on the back. It was an incredibly progressive gathering this year in Clemson. I'm just saying, you got to be careful that weekend. I don't want to cast aspersions on the Angels. They're a fine club. They're a good club, good people. But, this ain't like an arts and crafts convention. This could,
It's not the Tucson Gem Show.
This ain't the Tucson Gem Show, he said.
It's
probably this things are going to be real the way they should be.
Get wild.
Heightened.
Probably.
They could get wild. I don't want to tell tales out of school. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we'll all be watching the news and we'll find out what happens when there's a psychotic shootout with the Mongols, and we'll be like, "Oh, my podcast told me to be careful that weekend."
That'd be something if they like stream that, like they do, like Lock-In
Like
Festival.
everything? Yeah.
Like give me a 3-day pass.
Give me that. I want that. What's that? And I
Just
watched
drone
Coachella.
shots and shit?
Yeah, I'm loving this. Look at all these guys topless on the backs of bikes. This is a crazy weekend.
What a progressive week.
I love this progressive. Oh shit, the Mongols are here. And then anything could happen. I would just say, if you live in Clemson,
Maybe
don't Airbnb that weekend.
Good idea.
Shit would get
Good advice.
trashed.
Good advice.
And what are you going to be like? "Oh, they trashed our place. Yeah, you rented it to the Hells Angels, dog. These jerks left muddy footprints all over. Yeah, they wear boots, yo. They're in motorcycles.
Yeah, don't Airbnb.
Don't Airbnb
And then
in
maybe even
Clemson.
think about, taking a trip out to the beach or something. Just
No, because you want to. It's like you want to be near your place. You want to
to
board
defend it?
everything up to defend your property. I'd be on the fucking roof.
just hosing it down.
Yeah, just that fucking shotgun, like waiting.
USA Today snapshots. The percentage of U.S. businesses that report cyber attacks in the past 12 months.
Oh man.
And this is numbers acquired by the HISOC Cyber Readiness Report of 2019, conducted from October 22nd through December 7th, 2017, of 1,071 professionals responsible for their organization's cybersecurity strategy.
How'd you do?
In 2018, 38% of the businesses reported a cyber attack within the last 12 months.
That's a lot.
In 2019, 53% have
That's more.
reported a...
You know those numbers are low too because no one wants to
Report
make getting
that.
grifted.
Well, yeah. Well, also, it's not good for business.
Terrible for business to know that
Be like, oh, by the way,
Quest
your information
Diagnostics,
isn't safe here.
this 16-year-old Estonian teenager has all of your blood work from Quest Diagnostics. Excuse me? So numbers are definitely higher. Huge jump. Just the fact that we know it went up. It was higher the first, it was actually
then
42.
they said it was,
but
and
we
it's
know that
79% of all businesses.
anything where computers are involved in a network, you're essentially going to be paying some cryptocurrency in 2019. As long as you're aware of that,
Yeah.
that you'll be paying anywhere from $8,000 to $49,000 at some point in 2019, you should probably just put that aside.
Yeah.
You know,
Be sure to go to our
Pick your
Patreon
network.
page and type in your information.
make sure, yes, you can give
Update
that.
all your card information.
It's Hobart Boulevard, and it's amazing that these fucking firewalls, is that a thing? They can't protect this shit. I'm gonna write a movie called Firewalls, and it's gonna be fucking lit, wanky.
This firewall is lit.
That movie was shocking. That I saw at the multiplex.
Firewall?
Firewalls.
So stupid.
That's a fucking terrifying movie, dog. It's a cyber thriller, criminal caper. Cyberwalls 2 was even better.
Cyberwalls 2 was fucking bananas.
Cyberwalls 2, Parabellum, bananas.
My favorite movie of the last 5 years, basically,
Only
was
movie
John
he's
Wick
seen
3.
in a movie theater in 4 years.
Best movie.
Only movies he's seen in 4 years in a movie theater. John Wick 1, John Wick 2, John Wick 3.
Favorite movies. Wow. I guess if I see them in a theater, they become my favorite movies, no matter what they are.
What's your
because
favorite movie you've seen in a theater? It has to be John Wick. It's the only movie I've seen in a movie theater.
2 years.
Really? Since Goonies.
Yeah.
I was listening to KLOS. That's the rock of Southern California.
Yes, it is.
So just a 45-year-old man listening to the radio, listening to a classic rock station. What are you going to do? Now, I'm not exactly sure, and I've tried to find out who the fucking DJ was. I'm on their website trying to find out like Saturday afternoon DJs because I hear a guy say, Guns N' Roses are about to start work on a new album. We're going to be in the studio later this year. So I'm just like, ugh, like gross. If it turns out anything like Appetite for Destruction, man, we're in for a real treat. Yeah. Yeah.
True.
True statement. Dumbest thing anyone's ever said, but yes. DJ Man, yes. You just said something factual out loud of your adult stupid mouth. If they make anything like the best thing ever, we're in for a treat. But there's two different things going on here.
Well, yeah, but
That's
also
not going to happen. So why would you say that?
But also, isn't Axel not in the band?
No, maybe he's there. That doesn't mean anything.
No,
I don't give a fuck.
It means something, but it doesn't mean
It don't mean anything. But let's say it does. Jonathan, if those guys get back into the studio, if they make anything like Appetite for Destruction, we're going to be in for a real doozy treat. True. DJ man. Oh man, it's crazy. If we could just get them back in. Oh, you will find out if who's back in.
I guess they're back in.
Good man.
I wonder if it'll be in as good as Appetite for Destruction.
I bet it's gonna. I would say it'd be better if I had to guess right now. If this fall Guns N' Roses goes into the studio to record an album, I'm willing to bet my life that it's better than Appetite for Destruction. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
That it will be better than Appetite for Destruction. Can I say that?
Yeah, I guess it's Duff, Axel, Slash.
Okay.
And Dizzy, not Izzy.
So they've spoken. Man.
They played 159 shows in 41 different countries between April 2016 and December 2018. I did see them on that.
If the Grateful Dead.
I saw them
Give
at
me a Grateful Dead album.
American Beauty.
If the Dead could just get back, heard they're back in the studio. And if it's anything like American Beauty, Jonathan, me and you, we're in for a real treat. Yeah, DJ. Give me another band and another album. Anybody.
Led Zeppelin, Houses of the Holy.
God damn it. Heard that Plant was still kicking. Is Jimmy Page still alive?
Yes.
Heard that Page and Plant were back in the studio. What was the album?
Houses
If
of the
they
Holy.
making it anything like Houses of the Holy, we gonna be in for a treat. I'm a DJ. I mean, how do you get away with saying such crazy shit out loud to other fucking people?
Well, because there's 900 places with 9,000 hours to
So you
fill.
can say fucking anything.
It's better if
You
you
could
can
say anything. Heard John Lennon's getting back in the studio. No, hey guy, yeah, I don't fuck you. And it's gonna be amazing. You can't say that.
It's John Legend.
I can
not
say
John Lennon.
anything I want. I said John Legend. I heard John Legend is teaming up with Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr and George Clooney, and they're all getting in the studio.
What did I read this ad because Paul McCartney's going back out on tour.
Fucking thank
And
God.
they did like a sponsored ad for it. And the name they used for him was, they were like Palmic, like PAMC, like Palmic's coming back out on the road.
something
And it
cool?
was like trying to like,
Wow.
like, oh my.
PMAC.
It might have been PMAC.
Well, it was PMAC is back. Play the new shit, PMAC.
And I was like, are you fucking.
New shit, new shit, new shit. PMAC, new shit.
PMAC going back out there. Oh, man. You'd rather see the Stones than Paul McCartney, right?
Paul McCartney alone? Yeah.
What do you mean alone?
Yeah.
Who are you going to bring? Okay, let's say
I guess,
Paul
yeah.
and Ringo.
I just meant like, does he do? Well, he must do all Beatles songs.
No, he
right?
does some Wings stuff. Live and Let Die and all that
I
shit.
would probably just maybe the Rolling Stones just
Because it's the Stones.
Because it's just
It's
those two
all
old
of them.
guys, and they're like back to back. Maybe at one point they go back to back.
Well, not one point.
Oh no,
There's several points.
go back to back again. That's my favorite when they go back to back. Fucking shit, man. I've got a Reminisce magazine for July 2019, and this is called "On the Night We Met" because I didn't know if you know this, but like back in the day, old ass people like a malted with two straws. Essentially, a courtship could happen like basically like you can see a classmate in math class and then see her out at a movie theater and you're legally married like 1945 and before.
Yeah.
So I will just Robert Rockford of Greenwood, Arkansas, met Laverne at a carnival while on leave in 1944. There was a lot of on leave, so imagine from WW2. They were married immediately after, but they stayed married for 68 years. So this is a whole other thing. All of these couples met, were married within an hour, but stayed married for like ever until one of them died. So maybe there is something. It's like when Aziz did that thing about arranged marriages, like Indian marriages, like they're arranged, but the couples are... After a 2-day Thanksgiving visit home in 1948, every one of these dudes are like off at war. I returned to West Point, told my roommates I'd met the girl I was going to marry. Her name was Carol Bengston. She was the hospital nurse caring for my father after a minor hunting accident. I was halfway through my 3rd year at the U.S. Military Academy, and I was looking forward to graduation. June 1950. I graduated. I came back in November. I came home for a short leave. In November, joined up WW2, came back for the holidays in December, tried calling a woman that I dated once during graduation week. She wasn't home. I called Carol, thought I'll ask her out. To my surprise, she agreed. We went out the next night, and then every other night. On December 28th, she joined my parents, saw me back off to Korea. I came back in January. 2 years later, we were married. I came back on January 1st. We were married on January 12th. So you come home, call a woman. She's already getting a Malta with another dude that she's going to fuck and marry for the next 70 years. You call the next person in whatever crazy little black book that you had back in the day. You date for a week. You go off to war for 2 years. She sits home and like waits for you to fucking come back. Insane. I have my man. He's coming back. First of all, he's not, because he's like, no one's coming back. He makes it back on January 1st, and you get married on January 12th. Married for 50 years, so what am I? My parents met square dancing in early 1948. After the dance, my dad, Dwayne, known as Junior, and his friend, Joe Champion, both talked about the girl that they had met, my mom, Bonnie. The next night, when Dad went to Bonnie's house to ask her out, her mother said, "You have a caller." They went out many times over the course of after that and got married that November. So in May, early 1948, married by November. After returning home from the service in January 46, a friend and I went to the movies. Rather than wait in line to buy a ticket, we decided to walk in back through the back door. Sure enough, the secretary at my high school was there with her friend Teresa. They recognized me. We were caught in the act, so we went out with them for a bite to eat instead. Afterward, Teresa and I corresponded for 11 months while I got back from war, got married in December. We met at a dance one night in 1948. I was doing the Hucklebuck. I mean, right fucking there.
What's the Hucklebuck?
The Hucklebuck, I'll tell you.
Can you show me?
I can show you. I was doing the Hucklebuck with a girlfriend, and Tony told his buddies, "Hands off, she's mine." I wasn't interested in getting serious, but after 5 dates, he kissed me and we got married.
He did? So he married the dude?
He married the dude. This is it's a first gay marriage after the Hucklebuck. It's called the Hucklebuck Scandal. 1940, you must know that from your history books. There was Stonewall, but before Stonewall, there was the Hucklebuck Scandal. The Hucklebuck became a wildly successful dance craze in 1949, partly due to its sexual connotations. The basic dance has been described as having a double point with the feet on each side, 4 counts, then a lift and a twist of the leg and a small kick, then a shimmy, and then a hip gyration. The dance could get very sexual in nature when done as a couple dance, with the male dancing behind the female, one hand on her waist or hip, the other on her shoulder, gyrating the hips in unison with shocking variations, such as when the female dancers would lay down on their backs and the male dancers would stand over the center of her, slowly doing hip gyrations, hip rolling, and wiggly dance moves, slowly working their way over and past the female's head. You know, the Hucklebuck.
Well, this is like the stuff that they do at like the Dresden, right?
This is
right.
I mean,
where they throw each other through.
But women are somehow on the ground during this,
flying through the legs.
Swiffers back then, so the Hucklebuck, the woman is knocked to the floor. The man stands gyrates over her for 5 dates, and then you're legally married.
Hold on.
I
want to watch this Hucklebuck first.
Fuck,
Just
man.
a second. It's like some jump, jive, and wailing
I
stuff.
uploaded on YouTube. If you Hucklebuck 101.
It's you doing
it's
it?
me, yeah. If you want to.
It's a how-to.
It's a 4-minute how-to called Hucklebuck 101.
Oh, God, stupid internet.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Let me watch a few ads. Hold
Yeah,
on.
let me watch
this commercial.
Let's fucking...
Oh, boy.
Let me watch a Grammarly ad so I can see the Hucklebuck from fucking 70 years ago. So, yeah, essentially, they met at a dance. Every one of these people met, and within a calendar year were married, but all of them remained married their entire lives.
Okay, do you think I think the staying married... This doesn't look very sexual in nature at all.
In 1948, dog.
Look at this guy. Get a load of this dude.
What's he doing?
He's singing the Hucklebuck song.
Oh, he's singing the Hucklebuck. Yeah, the Hucklebuck was a very popular song. You might know Frank Sinatra's version. Dude, it was so different. I saw it happen one night at Last Remaining Seats this weekend at the Los Angeles Theater. And there's a scene where our boy Clark Gable is trying to hitchhike. And he's giving Claudia, this is how you hitchhike. You go the old. And then she comes out, let me take care of this. Literally takes her skirt, pulls it up to like halfway up her shin. And the guy driving by in a truck is like 19 car pileup, 40 people dead and like outtakes because they saw like below her knee. It was like pandemonium.
Do you think the immediacy of getting married, though, post-war did it have to do with the social programming of that's just what you do? Like you serve your country as a young man, you come home,
you start a family.
And you start a family. Or is it that they saw so much death and destruction that the only thing to do was to just latch on and be like, this is what we fought for. Like, I have to just get going here and try to like...
fought for the Hucklebuck.
We
took down Hitler for the Hucklebuck.
There was a lot of social programming, obviously, and the staying married forever thing. I think people sort of felt.
What about the women though? They have to like wait 2
to
years for these dudes to come home.
Yeah.
Do they get to bang, or they probably didn't get? They didn't get to bang.
I mean, I'm sure some did, but they didn't probably talk about it.
They had to keep that shit on the DL. Meanwhile, these dudes are off in France, going fucking Parisian brothels.
Probably
throw down
that too.
Getting really bad fucking terrible tattoos.
Yeah, like Donald Duck, with a
a
bomb
yeah.
in his arms.
It's Mickey Mouse.
Throwing a bomb on the...
Holding a bomb on these... We won't say anything. But they would have said something. Some bad term.
Something. Some type of thing.
Meanwhile, you got to fucking wait. I'd love to fuck, but apparently I got to wait. When?
But also a lot of them are mad churchy, so I mean, probably there was a bit of that just waiting the fuck out. But like you're saying, I mean, it seems.
But they all stayed married for 70 years, so maybe the joke's on us.
I mean, the joke's
Hucklebuck 5 dates marriage, 70-year
all
lock.
you need. Well, speaking of wartime, during the Civil War, at the height of the Civil War, the Confederate Surgeon General commissioned a guide to traditional plant remedies of the South, as battlefield physicians faced high rates of infections among the wounded and shortages of conventional medicines. A new study of 3 of the plants from this guide, the white oak, the tulip poplar, and the devil's walking stick, finds that they have antiseptic properties. Scientific Reports is publishing the results of the study led by scientists at Emory University. And the results show that extracts from these plants have antimicrobial activity against one or more of a trio of dangerous species of multi-drug resistant bacteria associated with wound infections. Acinetobacter baumannii,
Sounds bad.
Staphylococcus aureus and Klebsiella pneumoniae.
Which pneumoniae? Like pneumonia? Or pneumonia?
Pneumonia.
Which one would you least want to have?
Klebsiella pneumoniae. No, I think Staphylococcus.
What was I think the first one scared me the most.
Acinetobacter baumannii.
Yeah, that one sounds like the worst one.
So, quote, our findings suggest that the use of these topical therapies may have saved some limbs and maybe even some lives during the Civil War. says Cassandra Quave, senior author of the paper and also the assistant professor at Emory's Center for the Study of Human Health and the School of Medicine's Department of Dermatology. Quavo is an ethnobotanist.
So dope.
Studying how people use plants in traditional healing practices to uncover promising candidates for new drugs. Ethnobotany is essentially the science of survival, how people get by when limited to what's available in their immediate environment, she says. The Civil War Guide to Plant Remedies is a great example of that. Our research might one day benefit modern wound care if we can identify which compounds are responsible for the antimicrobial activity, adds Micah Detweiler, the first author of the paper. If the active ingredients are identified, quote, it is my hope that we can then further these molecules in our world-renowned models of bacterial infection.
I mean, that won't work, but it sounds great.
It might
on
work.
paper. You know?
It's the Devil's Walking Stick. It's a good name for anything.
It's the name of your fucking album.
It's the name of my
God damn it, if Nirvana could just get back in the studio for their new album, Devil's Walking Stick, with just Chris and Dave, if it was anything that sounds good. Maybe they saved an arm and a leg.
Devil's Walking Stick is the reason it's called that. It's because it's like a very thorny stalk of it's small tree, but it's like covered in thorns. So it's
get you the devil get you. The devil can get you anywhere, dog.
It's true.
He can show up in any room. He can do anything. You watch yourself.
It's also been known as the Angelica tree.
See,
of course,
but that's like angels and devils, dog. They sit on both shoulders, and that's yin and yang. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
And that's life, Hakuna Matata. You know what I'm saying? Is that a devil stick or an angel stick? I don't know, man.
You tell me.
You tell me, man.
It all depends on the holder.
Turn me upside down, yin it and yang it. That
Depends on
don't
the
work.
holder.
And I'll tell you why. It sounds great. 150 years ago, maybe saved like a tooth or an arm. But now that we have, like hospital, like you can't pull something off of a tree from 150 years ago that saves some dude's like pinky and go into like a hospital where everyone is like breathing something in, like, oh, I went through the ventilation system. The 11th floors, they're all dead. Just give them rub the fucking devil stick on their toes. Cut their toenail down a little too much and then just rub the devil stick on it. And
the idea is this, that with things that have become resistant, impervious,
if you will,
that there are.
It might get duped by this old timey shit.
Well, it's not. But if they have to, they're talking about identifying the compounds within it, and then making a super crazy version of that they can sell for a lot of money.
Yeah,
but all those things do come from at their root,
at the core,
something that exists within the natural environment.
In the natural environment, like cocaine.
So yes, that these things haven't built up a tolerance or a resistance to those things because
they forgot. Like, oh shit, it's not the Civil War again.
Yeah. So there's
except that's cute, but they'll spend a lot of time and money, and then they'll be like, we have this super solve from the devil's tree. And then someone will be like, I need it. And they'll be like, let us use it. And then it will put it in the body. And then inside the body, the bacteria will be like, you guys are fucking adorbs. Is this like a devil stick from Civil War times? You dum-dums? The patient is shaking. Like bacteria inside's laughing at us. Like, I've already mutated, fucks. You think you're going to pull something out of a leaf from like Abraham Lincoln's fucking dick? Yes, it was buried with Abraham Lincoln's dick. If we extract half the dick and half the leaf, we can grow wooden teeth. Shut up! You go to the hospital, you're dead.
Don't go to the hospital.
Don't go to the hospital. Dead. Have they done anything with the old-timey salves yet that I read about? No.
No, you're dead.
You're dead. Fuck. Offender watch. Offender. 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 Like an offender.
Not a fender.
Not a fender.
Of a car.
Not a fender like I fucking shred when I was at fucking Guitar Center. Is that shredding?
Yeah.
Fuck. Is the leading sex offender registry and notification solution for law enforcement.
I thought it was Megan's Law.
No, fuck that shit. Offender Watch, used by over 3,000 agencies to manage 60% of U.S. sex offenders. 60%? Seems like you want to...
200% of
You'd
them.
want 221% of all sex offenders monitored. But I guess we're going with 60%. Jonathan, you ask why. I'll tell you why. It's not fully implemented in every state. It has alerts, jurisdictions based on offenses, homework in school addresses. It promotes collaboration amongst different agencies of law enforcement. I'll tell you the states that it's in effect in. So these are the states that you can live in as a normal person and not be a psychopath and live in one of these in another state. Rhode Island, Connecticut, Vermont, New Jersey, Maryland, Minnesota, Ohio, Indiana, Tennessee, Illinois, Alabama, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, Idaho, Utah, Arizona, and Washington State. Now, I've lived in 2 places, Jonathan. What were those 2 states I've lived in? I didn't hear them mentioned on that. It's Massachusetts and California. So you just want 2 people, you want them to run amok? And just, so I lived in 2 psychotic states.
System that they use
There ain't no... you think it's a system in California?
What about Megan's Law? What is Megan's Law?
They ain't Offender Watch. Offender Watch is using by jurisdictions.
I've looked at Megan's Law myself and
More
looked
than
up an
Offender
actual
Watch.
person
In your
and
neighborhood.
they showed me a picture of him and like
How up to date was it? Was it probably a high school? The guy's probably 60. It was a high school photo. Looks great. You
No.
looked great when you were
it
young.
wasn't great, but
Okay.
it was fairly up to date.
God, you had a great shape. Yeah, that picture's 45 years old. Before I did anything.
I wonder why California doesn't.
Why California,
We know why
Massachusetts?
Massachusetts doesn't.
Oh, then
There's
fuck.
too many.
Because there's so many. I see what you're saying.
It's all the priests
At
and
the
shit up
Fenway.
there.
Just walk into Fenway and just be like, I
Oh,
want
yeah.
everybody,
Everyone by the green monster.
everybody by the monster. Come with me. But why? Why? Let me try to figure it out. I want everybody named Sully sitting near the monster to come with me. Why? You know exactly why. There was 700 Sullys arrested at Fenway Park this afternoon. You remember that weekend? Oh, crazy weekend in July.
Man,
that was tough.
I don't know what the deal with that is. Why that is. I wonder why California doesn't. Because I mean, they're pretty. You would think that there'd be.
Oh, the state is riddled with creeps.
Well, it's a huge state as well, so
But it's the weather. It just attracts extra creeps.
that's why you came.
I mean, you go into an arcade. If you went into that arcade on Western, 7 dudes trying to do upskirt photos. Guaranteed if you walked in there tomorrow.
Where?
That arcade on Western.
Oh.
If you stood in that arcade and were there for an hour, you'd be like, I just saw 7 guys try to take upskirt shots. What's going on here? Oh, we don't care. Here in Massachusetts, we don't care.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff. There were some guys at the Dead shows that were in the parking lot.
Oh, God, dog.
That I don't think
So many
I
fucking
don't think
felons.
were trying to go to the show.
Dog, are you kidding me? It was fucking littered
There was
with
definitely
fucking felony
some, like,
warrants.
weird cam stuff like set up early in the day or something that they were
Cams inside a
they were
hacky
gonna-
sacks,
Yeah, like
rolling it. Dog, I would have fucking rolled in there asking for IDs. I would have grabbed 20 by 5 o'clock.
I mean,
I'd have
because
20
there's
dudes in the
definitely
back
a
of
lot
the van.
of burn your bra. There's a lot of open back crocheted tops and
supposed to be good vibrations
yeah,
and
it's
environments.
very-
The idea is that we're all here to respect one another. But then you got some
guys.
guys that hitchhiked up from Venice. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Well, is that at the bowl? Let's start hitchhiking now.
It wasn't. There's definitely a couple of dudes in the cars.
Couple of dudes, you think?
that I saw.
Okay. I
was-
mean, vans filled with felony warrants showing up at that place. I mean, that will just be when they get facial recognition and scanning. 18,500 people at the bowl.
And then just be like,
Yeah, you just, oh no, you're in VIP. Come with us. You get a free hacky sack and a joint, you fucking dirty hippie. And they're like, hacky sack. Right into the van. 18,000 people, I'd say at least 500 felony warrants in the building.
I wonder if you put 18,500 deadheads in the Hollywood Bowl
Yeah.
versus, let's say, 18,500
Neil Diamond fans.
Neil Diamond fans in the Hollywood Bowl. Did a facial recognition scan. How many sex offenders would be at the Neil Diamond show versus the Dead and Company
Neil
show?
Diamond would have 3 times as many sex offenders.
Really?
than the Grateful Dead show.
Why?
Grateful Dead show would be more. I'd be low-level offenses, drugs, missed court dates,
But there are quite a few.
with a handful of fucking.
There are definitely some dudes definitely
keep
preying
on.
on some young hippie girls and
No
stuff
doubt.
like that.
But a
There's
Neil
still
Diamond concert, I'd say you have probably 1,000 sex offenders. I would think.
out of 18,000.
Over 2 nights. Over 2. Let's just
Okay,
say they
so
play 2 nights.
500 a night.
500 a night.
Bella Vista Arc. Have you ever seen Neil Diamond
In real life?
in concert?
Have I ever seen Neil Diamond in concert? How would that have ever happened?
Because it's apparently he's like the best. It's the best show of all time. It's like an amazing live show.
Like Bruce Springsteen?
Yeah, just like Springsteen. I think is one of the things they say.
Okay.
It's like seeing the boss.
I never
It's like
heard
seeing the
that.
boss's boss. They say.
Oh, have you ever seen The Boss's Boss?
Neil Diamond.
Neil Diamond?
Bella Vista, Arkansas, in Trafalgar Road. The Trafalgar Road fire. Now this was a stump. This is in a place called the Stump Dump.
Explain to me.
This was a landfill waste field consisting of wood waste.
Stump Dump.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's a former illegal dumping site of wood waste.
Wood waste,
Wood
you got to throw away wood?
stumps.
Stumps. People that live in places where there's wood. It's
Stump
not just all
dumping.
pavement. We're stump dumping. What are you guys doing this weekend? Stump dumping.
So
I would imagine that's probably a thing then.
what do you mean?
If this in place,
You gotta
where
get
is
rid
it?
of 'em.
You got to get rid of them. It's called the stump dump. A stump dump is a place where it's wood refuse. People definitely go stump dumping.
Yeah, in a
Curious.
legal.
In an illegal site just to get rid
Get rid of this.
Get off my property.
I don't want it here.
Go get Billy Bob. We're going stump dumping. What?
So
Wait a minute. What the fuck did you just say? You heard me, city boy. We going stump dumping.
this.
It's a big country. Let me just say that. It's
Well.
a big, beautiful country. Maybe too big.
So what do you
Maybe
think?
not.
You think you should break it up?
I don't know. Got 50 states, shitload of people, few hundred million.
A lot of cattle.
Cattle, fucking lousy with cattle. Had no idea. Also, didn't know there was stump dumping. Just learned it.
Well,
Big place.
this particular wood waste illegal dumping site has actually been on fire. Now,
I guess it's wood.
yeah, flammable. It's been burning underground,
Underground.
basically
So an underground fire.
an underground fire, and that's
Like the devil. Like we said with the devil
Like
who can
hell.
be anywhere. Exactly.
like hell. And this underground fire has been burning since August of 2018.
No, you must meant May of 2019.
So it's August of 2018. It's currently
Starts burning.
May of 2019.
Okay.
Right now,
June.
still on fire, and it's June.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're right.
Now
And it's still burning. So hell on earth
is still on fire.
It's still on fire. The devil's laughing at us.
and
And it's so people basically there have been driving by the stump dump. We going stump dumping, and they're like, "It's still on fire." And I guess they're just adding to it illegally.
illegally adding to it.
Stump dump it.
The
So it's been burning for since last summer.
fire crews that have been keeping an eye on it.
We got to keep this. We got to keep an eye on hell.
They believe it should be burned out by this month.
Okay, so
This-
maybe by the 4th of July. Although, why not just ride it through? Just bring over a fucking drone and drop 80 pounds of fireworks. We stump dumping! And have a 4th of July, gather everybody around.
yeah, as just a send off.
Yeah, or ignite more.
Um,
Turn the whole fucking city into a stump dump. Stump dump island. Whatever happened to that city with all the people? They died in the 4th of July 2019 stump dump massacre. The Trafalgar massacre. Sad.
I didn't know anything about this.
It's happening. Been burning. So I guess kids, if you walk home from school and
It can't be good for the environment, right?
probably not, maybe toxic. Is wood toxic?
Well, smoke isn't good.
Smoke isn't good.
Too much smoke.
So hell on earth for a year? Is that okay? That's good.
I don't know.
Oh, man. It's enough to really
Get you
thinking.
in.
It really can get you thinking.
Yeah. Do you in?
I got one for you. Want to talk about?
You wanted me to mention that I got pulled over.
Yeah, by law enforcement.
I did. I got popped the other day.
Were you alone?
I had my dogs in the back of the car.
But you were the only human being. No cattle, no other humans.
No.
You had 2 dogs.
And I was on my phone.
Jonathan.
I was Shazamming something.
You were trying to beat Shazam. I fucking know this.
I was trying to make a note of something I had heard on the radio.
Yep.
And I Shazammed it, and I tried to screenshot it or something.
So while driving.
While driving.
So you went into an application, opened that app, were listening more to the song than paying attention driving. Then you were photographing. It's totally safe.
And I went through a stop sign that
Excuse me?
I
Barreled through it.
drove through a stop sign.
I'm going to go with barreled through it.
I wouldn't say barrel.
Well, you barreled through it. Let's just say it.
It's a stop sign that I barrel through every day.
Pretty much every day,
So
whether I'm Shazamming or
one
not.
one I'm familiar with passing through.
So, for example, a mother could have her 2 young children. She could be driving them to Kohl's.
Well, it's right next to a school.
So it's basically packed with children.
Thus the reason
Tiny
the cops had
bodies.
staked out that area, because they had been getting a lot of complaints about people
About this particular car
running-
barreling. Okay.
And it was
So you see the sirens or what? You were alerted by audio, visual?
sirens,
So one time lights you up.
and
50 pulls you over. You immediately, do you run?
no, I immediately pull over, but
Okay.
I am then instructed to not pull over where I'm pulled over.
Okay.
And so then I kind of move back out, and he's like, and then I try to pull over to
They
another place.
loudspeakering
And
you?
yeah, and he starts
Ooh,
loudspeakering me.
dead serious.
And then I pull over in another spot, and he doesn't like that. And he was like,
Ooh.
and then he's like, keep going. And I'm like, what? Because I have like Shazamming song on,
Yeah.
is still on. So I'm like,
I'm trying to figure out this song. Hold on a second.
so I go like in the mirror. I'm like, I can't hear you. And he's like, I'll tell you when to stop. And I was like, all right. So then I drive a little further, pull over, and
Put your hands on the wheel. 10 and 2.
I don't.
Okay.
But-
start rifling through shit. Good,
Well, I have
good,
to put
good,
my
good.
phone away.
Okay.
Turn the radio down, and yeah. So 2 officers approached the car, 1 female, 1 male.
Who approaches the driver's side window? Female or male?
Female.
The male officer approaches your passenger window, tells you to roll it down?
I have them down.
Down. You're ready for both to engage with both officers. Hello, officers. I'm sorry. Is there something wrong? Can you beat Shazam? And then you peeled off.
The reason we pulled you over is because you rolled through that stop sign without stopping.
Barreled.
Because you barreled through that stop sign. And I said, you're absolutely right. I live in this neighborhood. I drive through it every day. I don't know what I was thinking.
I love this. You immediately culpable. I'm so sorry. I've never done that. They were like, come on.
Well, we've been getting a lot of complaints. There's a school right there. So I was like, as soon as I was like, there's a school, I was like, oh, I'm going to get zinged. Like, this is going to be a fat stop sign ticket. Dogs in the back of the car. My dogs are cute.
Yeah.
They're making some noise, whatever. They leave. They ask for my stuff. I'm like,
License and registration.
car's
sir.
brand new. So I'm like, oh, do I have everything? Like, I don't even know if I have it. I got dealer plates still on it. Find my sticker is in the window of the car from my original, my registration, my temporary registration.
Sir, do you have any felony warrants?
No, they don't ask me. There are any drugs, weapons. They don't ask me any of that
Perfect.
stuff. Don't ask me to get out of the car. Don't ask me about warrants. I give them my driver's license. I say my insurance is. I have proof of insurance on my phone, and
I'm with Flo. You just say Flo.
and
You're
then
good.
I was like, is it okay if I go through my phone to get it? So then I start scrolling through my phone. Officers walk back to the car. The female officer then comes back up passenger side.
Alone. Sans male officer.
Sans male officer.
Interesting.
And
Is that protocol? I don't know.
she was very, very nice and very interested in my dogs.
Is that all she was interested in?
And she was like, "Why don't you turn the car on? It's hot. The dogs are panting."
You look like you're sweating. So she like wiped my brow.
So I
God, you look hot.
turn the car back
Sweetie.
on, turn the AC on. She's like, "How old are your dogs?" I was like, "Fatty's like."
How old are you? I already know. Looked at your license.
I was like, "Fatty's like 13. He just got over mouth cancer." Started talking to him about the CBD. She's like, "I have a pit bull." We talk about the pit bull.
You're not at a dog park with another person. This is a police officer. This is law
Police
enforcement.
officer.
But you guys are having a pretty casual conversation about dogs and CBD and okay.
And she was interested in the CBD. She wanted to know more about that. And
Interested in your nice ride, your beard.
So a little while goes by. The male officer's in the car writing me the ticket. She and I talk about Fatty's cancer, how I got rid of it. I was like, I didn't do chemo. I was like, I've had other dogs die of chemo before. Have chemo and it didn't help them. So I chose not to do that, and we got rid of it. It's been a little while, and he's doing much better. And she's like, hold on one second, and she goes back to the car. And so then I'm sitting there, and I start texting.
Had to text. Couldn't wait. Had to. What are you thinking when she walks back to the car?
I don't know. I just figured something else was going on, or she was gonna tase me or something.
Legal stuff.
And she walks back up to the car, and she's just like, I want to let you know something. She's like, your dog's got you out of a ticket today. And she was like, he was already writing the ticket, and I told him, let's give him a warning, and
By dogs, you mean these baby blues, right? That's what she. You mean?
You mean these dogs?
Oh, you mean these dogs? Yeah, no doubt.
And both officers were very nice.
One seemed nicer than the other. How'd they look?
Both good looking.
Both good-looking officers.
Both attractive.
Did you find one more attractive than the other?
Marginally.
Was it the officer that you spent 15 minutes chit-chatting with?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She
After you sent the other one away? Shoo, boy. You go. Your work is done here, and then...
I was very grateful to get out of the ticket.
I'm sure.
And I was grateful to her for her giving me a stern warning.
Stern warning. Bare bottom discipline.
And I was grateful to my dogs for being so cute.
So,
and
yes.
So they weren't like being weird or barky. They were like being like
They were keeping quiet because they were watching you Mac on this officer. So the two of you had a good rapport, I'd say, you and this female officer.
I think we hit it off a little bit. Yeah, we might have hit it off.
She looked
slightly.
fit in her uniform?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fit.
Okay.
Strong.
So, this was a strong female officer.
Mm-hmm.
You guys just kind of chatted. And when everyone would have gotten a ticket, somehow she went out of her way to say, I don't want to give this gentleman a ticket.
I can't.
You know what? Let's not give this guy a ticket.
Zaddy a ticket. Let's not give Zaddy a ticket.
Jonathan. All right. Amazing.
First time I've gotten pulled over in years.
No, you got pulled over.
When?
You had it was serious. You talked about it at a live show. You had drugs on you, and you went through a.
That wasn't a pullover. That was a
Oh,
drunk.
that was you. You fled the scene. Oh my God! Statute of limitations. What episode?
No, that was a drunk checkpoint.
A drunk checkpoint.
So I didn't get singled out.
Oh, so you were
everyone
just-
had to
okay.
go through it. So that doesn't.
But not
count.
everybody had illegal drugs on them.
Had illicit drugs
Illicit drugs on them.
in the car. Multiple kinds. Multiple brands.
Connotations, if you will.
Yeah, no.
It's tablets, if you will.
That doesn't count.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, well, but about maybe 6 months or so before that, I got pulled over on Hollywood Boulevard for making an illegal U-turn on right outside of the old, on Cahuenga, right there by the old magazine stand.
By World Book and News.
I pulled out and did a illegal U-turn onto Cahuenga and made a right on Hollywood and got pulled over on Hollywood. And the dude let me go.
Dude let you go. You guys chat?
A little bit.
Okay. About workouts? What'd you guys talk about? Is he fit? I
was drunk.
He didn't know that.
He asked me.
You said, how dare you, sir?
I didn't. I just said none.
No.
No.
None. No. Now. That's cool, right? Now. Pulling away. Episode we just did.
The one that we just finished just now?
No, we did them a couple weeks ago. I offhandedly was referencing a Different Strokes episode that the periodic table of elements for gold, it's AU. And I said how I'd remember that is my dear friend Arnold. In an episode,
AU, give me back my gold watch.
I couldn't remember if it was gold watch, gold chain. I had written a note to myself to look that up to. I sort of paraphrase, but the general gist of that. So I write a note to myself to look that up. I'm like, it would be funny to watch that. A couple days later, I get a voicemail from this guy, Rich, in Rhode Island. And he says, hey, I'm driving home from work. I had to stop the episode. So crazy that you just referenced that Different Strokes episode. I've had that in my head for my entire life. It's so when you said that, I had to stop it and call you and be like, "That's so fucking funny." Like I think about that all the time. I'm like, it's the show's so cool. Isn't that good? That night, I get another voicemail. Hey, dog, just a fucking heads up. I think you fucked up. That gold thing isn't from Different Strokes. It's from Facts of Life. So I'm just like, nope. Like delete. When I find my note, like the next day to look that up, I think, let me check that. I look it up as Facts of Life, and a clip comes right up where Natalie, Tootie, and they say a variation on that. And I'm like, but I've never seen this clip. When I'm watching this,
it doesn't trigger any.
I've never seen this in my life. I'm like, that's so weird. That's so weird. Oh, let me find the Different Strokes one. Can't. Let me look. Let me look at that. Let me find it. And then I realized after like a half an hour of like trying to use different key phrases and I can't find it. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is so weird. I call this dude from Rhode Island. I'm like, Rich, hey, Seth, it's so funny that you said that about. I'm like, but here's the deal. I got another voicemail from a guy, and he was like, it wasn't on Different Strokes. It was on Facts of Life, and he's like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like Natalie said, I'm like, wait a minute, Natalie and Tootie. I'm like, you remember that? I'm like, I don't remember that at all. How do you remember that? I'm like, how old are you? He's like, I'm 40. I'm like, I'm like, so. But you remember the Different Strokes thing? And so in my head, I'm remembering it as they're in their bedroom and he's saying it to Willis, but they're in their like Different Strokes bedroom. He's like, yeah, I totally remember it. They're in their bedroom. And I'm like, so when he says that, I'm like, okay, you remember the same thing I remember where I'm not making this up.
It was like Nelson Mandela syndrome.
Is the full Berenstein fucking bullshit. So I'm like, that's so weird. I'm like, but I looked it up online. I found the Facts of Life clip, and it takes 2 seconds to find. You just, like, I didn't go too in-depth, but I got a little crazy late night. I didn't do a deep dive, but I didn't do the lightest dive, and I couldn't find it. And I'm like, is it possible that, like, where'd you grow up? Like, we can't make this up. He's like, let me give you a call back. I'm going to do some. So he goes on Reddit. He posts on, like, a Different Strokes thread, a TV thread. Hey, me and my friend, blah, blah, blah. He's in all of his fucking friends. He's asking them like, hey, do you remember this? Everyone on the Reddit's coming back like, it's Facts of Life, it's Facts of Life. So I'm just like, dude, like, what, are we going to have to like split the seasons? And like, he's like, I'm 3 seasons in. I've watched. I'm like, dog, you're my homie. Like, he's like, it's making me crazy. Like, I'm not going to work. I'm like, his girlfriend's like yelling like, I talked to my roommate. He's trying to find
I'm breaking up with you.
I'm like, you're a psychopath. You guys can date, love each other. She was like, a friend of mine is trying to find closed captioning. Is there a way to do a keyword search? And yeah, yeah.
This is heaven.
Oh, this guy's my boy. I'm like, all right, I need
You're like, you need to come out to LA.
Yeah, we need to
I need
come
you
work.
here.
So he's having like a conversation with like online with a dude from Holland that's like, I just watched the episodes, don't ask me why, I don't remember ever seeing that. And I'm like, is it possible? I'm like, how's this theory? That in the 13 and a half years we've done this show, I have mentioned that in another episode at some point. I was like, how long have you been listening to the show? He's like, I've been listening forever, since like the beginning. I'm like, is it possible I said it at some point in your life, you heard me say it, and then somehow it went into your brain as like a memory that you had, but it wasn't. It was a fake memory I had. He was like, no, I specifically remember seeing this.
You have said it on the show before, though.
Okay, I
believe so. But go ahead.
So I was basically like, we're doing shows on Wednesday instead of Tuesday. Like, because I was like, if you could,
I'm buying you 24 more hours.
Because guys, like, literally, I'm like, I think it's 8 seasons. He might be 5 seasons in, but he hasn't found it. And I'm like, is it possible that it doesn't happen on different strokes and I have a very vivid, weird memory, but another person has the same memory? What is it? Did I just say it and he heard it and he thinks he saw it? How did he know the facts of life when I didn't remember that? But how does his image of it from different strokes the same as mine, unless I said at another point in an episode, he says it in their bedroom. And you know what the bedroom looked like, so you... Or is it a Mandela? What is it?
But you don't have any answers as of right now.
No, I did a deeper dive, and when I realized, like, when I was trying to just do piecemeal episodes where I was watching fucking Andrew Dice Clay, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I'm like, all right, this show's fucking insane. I wasn't finding it, and then when I was thinking we're going to have to split the seasons, my boy was like literally 5 seasons deep. Oh, and another, he's like, what were you watching on? We were watching it on a really bad site that had crazy ads, and it was like 3 inches in the top corner, watching it. He was like, I realized as I was watching episodes, the next day they were being pulled off the internet. What do you think that is? So I was like, all right, stop it, Building 7. So now it's like full conspiracy.
I was thinking that maybe... At first, when you started telling me that you were going to be like, we had the same science teacher 5 years apart, and
he's from Haverhill.
Yeah, or like just something like that. That like, no, this teacher uses this example, but
our age, but no, as a totally, but it had such an effect, and then when he heard it on the episode, he called, like, paused the episode driving home, and was like, "It's so funny you say that. I have such a." I was like, "Are you sure that vivid memory wasn't? Did I implant that in your brain at some point?" Did I come to your house with Jonathan because we have secret technology we haven't mentioned where we can do things? We put it in. It's in. There's other memories you're going to get later in your life and realize they're not really yours. They're Jonathan's.
What do you think? At this point, he's more than halfway through, and hasn't heard
he's
it.
my dog. I was convinced. He called. I was like a giddy. I was like, I saw his number. I was like, woohoo, it's Rich. I thought for sure I'd be like, I was like, give it to me. Like, it's episode, He was like, I haven't found it yet, and I'm 5 seasons in. And I'm like, is it possible that but I'm just like, how do I have it? How can I see it in my head right now? How did I do that? Maybe I always wanted to be a writer, and I was writing my own Different Strokes episodes.
And you stole and you plagiarized.
Stole from Facts of Life.
Because nobody watched both of those.
Because I was
you were the Facts of Life person, or you're a Different Strokes
they're a
person.
spin-off because she was the mate. I was like, is it possible that Gary Coleman, maybe he did guest spots on other shows, and maybe he said it on another show, and I just remember him? Jonathan, what is it? What is it? Is it not on there? Did I make something up in my head? What is memory? Who are we?
I have certainly superimposed 2 memories and fused them into one.
Into one event from 2 different times?
Well, let's say like 2 different... A source... believing a source was like similar to something like this, where the quote is correct, but the person who said it isn't correct, or the time and place in which it happened isn't correct, but that it's sort of that the wires get a little crossed up, I guess, but that the brain's job is to connect those dots for us, because we
know it does a bad job, though. Brain games.
So that's why I'm saying that this is maybe we'll find out, but I mean that this is a memory that's been in order to become a true memory, that it's it had to fill in that blank because
So weird.
because you don't remember the clip, you just remember the phrase.
Yeah. But then I was like, this was 80s sitcoms. Could the same joke be on two? I'm like, of course the same bad joke could be on two different shows, but like,
A couple of years apart,
but
maybe.
but
And also, was that not a commonplace thing that was taken from
Maybe.
real life, that science teachers would use that
Maybe.
as like a reference point, and that's where
maybe I was a super little kid, and maybe I had a classmate who was just a tiny black classmate that I thought was Arnold.
you stole a chain from.
I took his chain because I wanted it, and I named him Arnold. He's like, my name's Steve.
No, you're Arnold.
You're Arnold now in my memory, and riches in Rhode Island. Enjoy.
Oh, well, I hope
Somebody gets to the bottom of it. But my fear is that the bottom of it is it doesn't exist. And then at my very core, I'm shaken. And who am I? Who am I, Jonathan, if that's the case? That I'm telling our listeners who I love so much and respect so much, I'm going to lie to them? That's my thing now? I lie?
I lie to them all the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. You're like, and I mean it. Actively lie to them, knowing and lying. You're remembering something from when you were 11 on accident. No, I lied to them, so. Researchers working to identify a means of diagnosing chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, in living persons experienced a breakthrough. The Boston University CTE Center, they're spearheading the CTE research for former athletes, particularly football players. Dr. Robert Stern and Ann McKee. They found elevated tau protein levels in a small group of living former NFL players. So within this first time, you had to be deceased and you would donate your brain. But for some former players, they found some elevated levels of this protein, which is they found elevated if you have CTE. So they're thinking, even though in 2017 it was the latest research number, they have 111 brains of former NFL players. How many of them have CTE?
100?
110. So, listen, I love it when science gets real in depth. I would just call it right there and be like, I think you have your answer.
Oh, you definitely have your answer.
Oh, you got it. So you have 111 guys played football, and you have their brains, and 110, probably 111, they maybe dropped a brain, and then they just like, fuck, we can't use that. Like, damn it, bro, why'd you drop it? Get it? 110 of 111 have CTE. You get CTE if you play football. So this is the last season of football.
I mean, it should have been already.
It's
right?
already over.
I mean,
so this is it.
Go Saints, but like...
So, yeah.
Who dat?
Who dat this year, but this is it. You got to who dat one more time and you're done.
Now, why aren't we already working on what eats protein? Because couldn't you just put something into the brain that would eat
That eats this found elevated tau protein. What's anti-tau? What hates tau? What you need to do is manufacture a biological agent that fucking hates tau. You hate tau. You hate it. You tell it to him in the petri dish. You fucking hate tau. You're going to fuck tau up when you see tau. Eat it, brain it, shoot it right in the brain.
Snort it.
Snort it. Snort it. What are you snorting? It's a biological
Anti-tau.
cocaine agent anti-tau. It fucking hates tau. Football! You have to snort it before every play. But it's half cocaine. And so the league is the games are insane. The touchdown dances are like
So long.
bananas. End zone to end zone. So no more football. Sweet. Good run. Solid run.
Made some money.
They did quite all right for themselves. We didn't do all right helping them, but they did fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably that.
Anti-tau.
You gotta fucking get a petri dish of a biological agent that fucking despises tau. Lives to kill tau. What do you hate? And it looks back at you and says, from the petri dish, tau. What do you kill? Tau. When do you kill it? Now. And then football. Who dat?
Who dat? Back at it.
Who dat back at it? The oldest,
Yeah.
longest largest multi-day bicycle tour in the country is coming up. The Register's annual Great Bicycle Ride across Iowa. They call that the RAGBRAI. RAGBRAI. July 21st through the 27th. Council Bluffs to Atlantic to Winterset to Indianola to Centerville to Fairfield to Burlington to Keokuk.
How long is it?
Dog, it says the 21st to the 27th. You want to fucking ride a bike for 6 days?
How much distance?
It's across the whole fucking state.
Well, how much is that?
Oh, you talking miles? Or you talking kilometers? Because I'm only talking kilometers these days,
Talking
brah.
Ks only.
You talking K, bras? How many? Can you Google how many miles is? What would that be?
What is the race called?
RAGBRAI, the RAGBRAI. Oh,
how many miles is the RAGBRAI race?
Let me tell you something. There's no way that this stupid machine.
It never works.
It doesn't work.
I do it all the time. It doesn't work.
You know what it should be? You press a button and a human picks up.
Well, they have that.
Oh, they do?
It's called 411.
What if you hit there was a special green button, and when you hit it, hi, this is Edwin. You had a question? And you said, Edwin, I'm in the middle of a podcast.
Do me a favor.
Go
onto my Google and search this for me because I don't want
Google
to.
this,
I just wanted
Seth's
to make you do
laptop
it.
is so old, the battery's dead, you can't do it. Be done. How many miles across is Iowa? You want to be on a bike for 6 fucking days?
400 the length of the entire week's route, first 40 years, from 73 to 2012, not including Century Loop, averaged 467.925 miles.
That doesn't include Century Loop.
With the average daily distance between host communities, 67 miles.
You remember the C Loop when we tried to do that? So that's not... Is it a bike?
It's a shit ton.
It's a lot. Because you're on a bike, you're not in a car. So I guess, if you rode 60 miles, that would take a long time, right, on a bike? Too long, I would imagine.
It's $175 to do it.
Oh, to join.
A week-long non-rider fee is $35. I don't know what that means. I guess a vehicle permit is $40.
You can do it in a car. That would be much more fun. It's like road work for a boxer. You just ride next to them and yell at them.
The 7-day total mileage for 2019 is going to be 468 miles. There's an optional loop called the Karas Loop on 1 day each year for cyclists wanting to challenge a full century 100 miles. I don't know what that means. Oh, I guess you can do that if you want to do 100 miles a day each day.
We should do that on our Pelotons. We'll just hook it up. We'll get our 2 Pelotons set up right here, and you can just stay here for the 6 days, and we'll ride with them virtually.
1,500 daily riders, 8,500 week-long riders.
Oh, you want to jump in a day, maybe?
Just to do a day trip?
Just do fucking Burlington to Keokuk? Oh, yeah. I'm going to do the B to Key. The B-Kuk-Kuk. Everyone knows that. Oh, Sea Bluffs? No, we don't do that anymore. Get off your bike for 6 days. People have passions, Jonathan. And
hobbies,
we must...
passions.
Passions. We must honor and indulge these. If they're healthy and they promote positive vibrations.
Not destructive.
If they're not destructive to human nature. But fuck, man.
Or nature.
Or nature. But if someone was like, you want to ride a bike for 6 days? I'd be like, nah, bruh. I don't want to ride a bike for a minute. Cool? I'd be like, are you sure? I'd be like, I am wicked sure. I don't want to ride a bike ever. I don't want to do it for 6 days. Because you know why? I don't want to do it for 6 seconds. If I saw a bike and was given the option to get on it, I would politely decline in every circumstance. No, I'm cool. 45. Don't want to tear anything. I'm totally cool. You sure you don't want to ride this bike? But why? I drove here. You want to ride around here? Cool. No, thank you. 6 days is a fucking long time to ride a bike, man.
But think of all the sights you'd see.
A lot of bloody knees. That's all you see.
Probably.
You'd have a lot of nightmares
Skin,
about bloody
shins.
knees.
Skin, shins, and bloody knees.
Yep. A lot of bruising.
That's our show.
That's it.
That's all we got, guys.
How does it work on the genitalia?
It's
Brutal.
It's got to be,
Brutal.
Some chafing, some bruising,
What about a vagina on a bike seat for 6 days?
My understanding is the same thing. You can get
worse.
You can get infections. You can get bruisings. You can get It's got to be tough. Bike shorts help because there's some padding, but it's still you got a lot of stuff in there that you want to protect.
Why don't they make the bike seat like a car seat?
There's all sorts of seat tech. Ones that cup
New
your
seat tech
cup
that
your
I don't
shit
know about?
and pad your shit, and I think at the end of the day, your weight is bearing down on an area of your body that isn't necessarily the best place. The
perineum?
The perineum is
Not designed.
I don't believe it was
for
designed
6 days
to support the weight of the body.
of the body
I don't think so.
with movement up Council Bluff and Keokuk. This vagina don't do Keokuk. Cool? Fuck. Hope they yell that. I hope somebody has a sign. This vagina don't do Keokuk. I hope someone holds that sign up at the fucking finish line. Pointed at it. Oh yeah, dude.
Oh yeah, you mentioned the live shows already.
America through the eyes of
Thank
two American
you.
Americans. This is America's podcast.
Please come and get.
So we ask you come back for 727.
Yeah, come for 727. Get a
We
ticket
ask
for
that
one
you,
of our shows.
you support us on Patreon or
Patreon
on Venmo.
is where
Any
you-
way that you can help us.
If you want to go to Patreon, you can pledge to us. If you want to just do a one-time pledge, not a recurring thing, go to Venmo. It's UYD4L. That's UYD for life. Letters UYD, number 4, letter L. I think you can also search it by my name, Jonathan Larroquette.
Jonathan Preston.
UhhYeahDude.com. Merch store, ticket links for all the shows, notes for all our episodes.
Every story I've ever heard about a woman dating a cop, absolute fucking nightmare, because they decide
You
to
know what
break
I'd
up
like
with
to
them
hear?
and they become like monsters. Would that happen to you if you dated?
I don't know,
this-
but I would like 888-842-2357. If you have ever dated a female police officer, would you please call Seth and let him know what your experiences were? Did they go bona fide ballistic
I mean,
on
if
you?
you
and
had
like,
a friend, a female friend, loved one, coworker, sister, friend, and
if
she
you're a
said,
female police officer, have you ever
dated a blue-eyed beauty,
picked up or later on
pulled over again?
have you ever? I mean, if she wanted to find me, she could find me because she has my
She's going to pull
information.
you over again next week. Even though you're going to stop this time because you're going to beat Shazam, she'll pull you over when she's going solo. Or maybe when she has another female officer with her, and then that's a whole different set of films that
I
are
want to
online.
know if you've dated a female police officer ever. Have they gone psycho on you like male officers always do on their girlfriends?
Allegedly, from what we've...
And then what's the other question? If you are a female police officer and you'd like to remain anonymous, that's totally fine. However, have you ever picked up on a perp? No, picked up on, what would you call me?
concerned,
Citizen.
gentle citizen.
A careless citizen.
Okay. I mean, the school really
Just out of-
elevated it. Wow.
I felt bad.
Kids running out of their backpacks. They're so heavy.
Fuck.
We're out of school. Yeah, you picked the perfect time. Like, I'm gonna barrel through this on the last day of school where kids are really focused. Kids are running for their lives. School's out for summer. You're beating Shazam, barreling through in a brand new car with no plates, no license, no ID.
888-842-2357 is a toll-free voicemail. You can email me at uyd@me.com.
And you were like, I got it.
Find me on-
Panic at the Disco. Nice.
Find me
The
on
Tower Records still open? I'm going to swing by.
Find me on Instagram, Jonathan Larroquette. Seth Mans our Twitter. We got all sorts of things out there. But main thing, go to Patreon and pledge to us.
Yeah,
or if you'd
please
like to
do
make
that.
a one-time
If you've
pledge,
done that,
do
thank
to
you so
Venmo.
much.
Thank you to everyone who
Keep
pledges.
the lights on. Keep the show ad-free.
And get a ticket for one of our live shows and come and see us this summer. And then come back for 400. Sorry. Excuse me.
Shit.
Come back for 727.
I'm going to go back in time. It's memory, though, dog. What is it?
I don't know. You're
What
going to
happens
find
at
out.
night? Where do we go?
I don't know. I've been trying to have a.
You close those
I've been
eyes.
trying to conjure an OBE lately. Has been my process.
One more time.
I've been trying to conjure OBEs,
OBEs.
out of body experiences.
Out of body experiences, not real things. Go on. You've been trying to conjure them.
Trying to work on lucid dreaming or
Order of the British Empire.
Astral projection.
Astral projection, lucid type events.
It's
Alchemy god codes.
it's difficult.
Restorative.
It's been difficult for me.
Karmic.
It's apparently not difficult for other people, but
Really?
I don't know.
I'm trying to shut the shit down.
I've had some pretty, I guess, things that I might consider.
That's why sometimes I can't find some of the cards. You tuck them in your socks and you take home your
it's
favorite
like
ones.
cheating poker. I always have an ace up my sleeve or
It's
an
in
index
case
card in my sock.
officer pulls you over and you're like, oh, this index card is just from my award-winning podcast. I'm sorry.
It's LARROQUETTE.
I barreled through that stop sign because I was just shocked at looking at how long I've been doing my award-winning podcast. Oh, so you drive around a lot at work? You must listen to podcasts. And she's like, no, I'm a fucking cop. I'm not listening to... Oh, okay. All right, so maybe in your spare time, you UhhYeahDude. You cross out, Sharpie out the iTunes part. He's getting new cards.
Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that part.
Seatbelts.